This is Sonya with Through the Fire. I have Nayeli Nguyen here in my office. She was the guest speaker here for the Las Vegas and New Mexico, or the Albuquerque ladies here, and she spoke about her story of her past and what God is doing in her life today. So thank you so much for joining us. Tell everybody here who you are, Nayeli, what you're doing, what God brought you through, and your story. I want you to share it with the world.
Well, I'm here today as an advocate for those struggling through poverty. I've been through it myself, so I know how hopeless it makes you feel and how hard it can be. My life journey actually started dealing with poverty and drug addiction from both of my family, my parents, and today I am founder of Blessed Beginnings. It's an initiative that supports those struggling, and I'm also a published author and many other things, but it doesn't come, no accomplishment means more than just giving your life to God.
Okay. So you established Blessed Beginnings, and so tell us about Blessed Beginnings. What is that? What do you do with Blessed Beginnings?
I named it that because everyone deserves to have a blessed beginning, just like I did. A blessed beginning, new life in Christ. And through it, I've gotten to partner with local women homeless shelters here in Albuquerque, specifically the Barrett Foundation Women's Homeless Shelter. I've gotten to spend Mother's Day with them. I've gotten to give them gel polish manicures, give them period products, perfumes, packets about self-reflection, and so many other things, and just making memories with them. What matters most to me is just sharing my story and using everything I've got to help make the world a better place. And what I've got is my story and my passion. And I gained my passion from the experience I went through staying in different homeless shelter and with different family members and neighbors who took us in. It all started from humble beginnings.
Yeah. And so humble beginnings is exactly where she came from. Nayeli, you told a story about a deep, dark time in your life where your parents were suffering from drug addiction and you guys were in and out of homeless shelters, not just one, but a few. And Joy Junction specifically, we thank you, Joy Junction, for all you do. And so tell us about that experience. How old were you?
We dealt with poverty from the age of about 9 or 10, all the way up till about kind of today. Of course, I'm not in a homeless shelter no more, but everyone still has their problems and their struggles. And growing up, I can remember my mom yelling in Joy Junction because it was such a horrible smell. The mattresses are not even mattresses. They're really small, thin, kind of like from gym at school, like the mats. And I could remember finding $20, just surprisingly finding it, and it felt like winning the lottery for my mom. I found it in my backpack in a folder, and I was like, Mom, I found $20, and it felt like the lottery. And I also remember in the 3rd grade, my teacher found out about our situation, and she actually helped us out a lot. She had me bring a suitcase full of dirty laundry that she would wash and clean and dry at the school washing and dryer system, and then she would send me home with clean clothes in a full suitcase. And I remember my friends being confused, like I have this Hello Kitty suitcase that I take to school, and they're like, what is in there, and different things. And I still remember her to this day. it's people that like her that stay stuck with us. And I remember the family workshop. It's a program here in Albuquerque that also helped us. I could remember my mom telling me while we were waiting in their office, sort of like in an environment like this with a nice couch, and I can remember my mom just wanting to just at least just relax there. I can remember my dad coming home from jail, and we weren't home. We were staying at a family member's house who did not approve of my father. So while we were sleeping there in their living room, my dad came home and he was so happy to see us. But then we got kicked out right away because they did not approve of my dad. So there's just so many different things, so many different stories I could go on and on about. But I'm so blessed to be where I am today. Today I am a model. I just signed a 3-year contract with MMG. I just competed at my 4th pageant. I'm taking a break for right now for a year, but I'm just so honored and blessed to be living the life I am today. There's this quote that I really love, and it's that you don't choose modeling, modeling chooses you. And I feel like that's kind of what happened to me, because growing up through humble situations, I never really thought I would be doing these type of things, but it just came up to me. God kept bringing the opportunities, and I thought these are the opportunities that a lot of local models would die for. So if I'm getting them, then I might as well take advantage of them. And I'm just so excited and blessed. I always wanted to be a entrepreneur. I've always wanted to be something nerdy, like a scientist or an engineer. And instead of that nerdy side, God bring me the opportunities of modeling. So might as well embrace that.
Yeah, you're such a beautiful model. Thank you so much. Prime example of going through the fire. So you're talking about poverty, you're talking about homelessness, you're talking about now what God's doing. And have you won any pageants?
I have not. Pageantry, when you're not in the world of pageantry, it's so hard to understand. But the last pageant I went to, it was a national pageant where there's one girl for each state. I represented Hawaii, and I competed against Miss New Mexico, Miss Arizona, Miss Colorado, so on, all the 50 states, and only one girl wins out of the whole pageant. So,
and you've done 4 so far.
Yes.
But you said you were Las Vegas, New Mexico at one time. How did you accomplish that?
Yes. So my first ever pageant, I got to represent Las Vegas, New Mexico as a teen, and I accomplished that through, it's really weird, an Instagram ad came up and it was like, do you want to sign up for the Miss New Mexico pageant, blah blah blah. I didn't think nothing of it, but I signed up, put the application, and then a few days later I got a call and they said, hey, you want to join? It's only $200. It's only $200 if you want to join. And so I paid it right away. And then a few days later, they're like, okay, your remaining balance is $500.
Oh, great!
And yeah, so it was only $200 just to start, just to start
the process.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they told me my remaining fee, and I was like, might as well just go through it. And then here I am, almost 4 years later, still doing the same thing, but just on a bigger level and with more growth.
You just competed for Miss Cosmo.
Yes, Miss Cosmo USA.
So how was that?
It's amazing. It's a brand new pageant. This was the first edition of it, and I was so excited because Miss Cosmo USA, this pageant is about women's leadership, education. Of course, the looks matter, but in this pageant, it's all about impactful beauty. That's their slogan. The brand slogan is impactful beauty, and they really emphasize and appreciate the advocacy part of competing, because every pageant girl needs to have something, an advocacy that they care deeply about. That's why I was so connected with Miss Cosmo USA, because their slogan, their mission is to make tangible change positive in the world, and that's exactly what I am all about too. And the winner of Miss Cosmo USA goes to Vietnam for a whole month. So
wow.
Yeah, I'm Vietnamese and I've always wanted to go to Vietnam. My aunties always go. They leave me behind and then they come back home with gifts and little knick-knack things, and I've always wanted to go to Vietnam, and I will one day. And maybe next year or in 10 years, but I will.
All right. Well, thank you for that. So you went through poverty. You went through your parents being addicted to certain things, and so going through the fire. Right. You were really young as a teenager, and so that caused you to rebel against your faith, against your religion. So my question is to you is when did God come into all this?
Well, there was a point in my life where I told her and earlier, and the residents and the ladies earlier, that there was once a time in my life where I was just partying a lot. I was using cocaine every day. I was playing with tarot cards. If you don't know what that is, it's just cards that try to tell you your future or whatever, and it's not godly at all. I didn't know that it was something that doesn't make God proud. And I started reading the Bible. My best friend today.
Who introduced you to the Bible?
My best friend. My best friend is so inspiring. That's
a guy.
Yes, he reads his Bible every day.
Wow.
He puts together lessons and studies for me to do, and sometimes I would dread it. But he is a blessing in my life.
What's his name?
His name is Devin.
All right, shout out to Devin. Woo-hoo.
And I read in the book of Deuteronomy, basically saying, do not trust tarot cards or any of those things. So I decided to throw them in the dumpster. I literally threw them in the dumpster, and that is when everything started.
Wow. All right. So you got a best friend praying for you. You got a best friend just speaking the words and throwing those seeds at you, and you were just partying it up. And you shared a story. I hope you're ready to share this story with the girls about your best friend having a dream and what happened with that. And if you don't mind sharing that with everybody.
So there was once upon a time, I had a best friend, a girl. I haven't talked to her in a while, but I love her still. Anyways, she had a dream about me going to a party with her, of course, and a shooting happened, gunshots, and then me getting shot and passing away at the party. We go to the party in real life, and this exact scenario happened. What she dreamed about, it happened, and she was crying, telling me about her dream, about me dying in her dream. But in real life, it was our friend who we just met, our friend who was a young boy who had two amazing parents, who had a big nice house and two parents with good careers and just a good life for him. Instead, it was him who got shot and passed away, and I had to witness it.
Right in front of you, huh?
Yes, I was the one who, I felt like I was the one who deserved to die instead, because I was just not my best self. I can say I was my lowest self at that time, and I always questioned God, why did you save me and not him? Why do I have to feel this guiltiness every day now? And I really just hope that this story aligns with what someone needs to hear. And I know now that God kept me alive. God gave me him as my guardian angel, because I have a story today that inspires others. And I hope that God continues to use me for whatever his will is in this world. And I know he has, of course, big things planned for me, but not just me, but for me to use to make the world a better place. And I may not be able, of course, to completely erase poverty or addiction with my little initiative, Blessed Beginnings, but I know that I have my story and my passion, and that's all you need to make a difference.
So would you say when you went through that experience, it helped you kind of wake up to the fact that, hey, you have a calling, you have a mission, God wants to get a hold of your heart? Like, did you walk away slowly toward the light after that? Did that help you to open your eyes?
Definitely did, but I was still young, and of course there's always still struggles and setbacks and fall downs. That it was definitely something that I carry with me today, and that taught me so much. And today I can say I've learned a lot from it and I've overcome it. But during the time, it didn't feel like nothing really inspirational and powerful.
Yeah, that's definitely an experience that you will always remember, and it's going to grow in appreciation every moment point on, right? I bet It just grows more and more of inspiration and appreciation.
Right.
And so, Nayeli, I want you to share with everybody. You were going through. So then you were addicted to cocaine. Were you addicted to cocaine? Or were just partying and just over?
I was really just using it every day. And I felt so functional because I would just do it and
go to work, functioning addict.
Yes, no one would know. No one would question anything. All I know is that it got to a point where it was making me feel depressed, and I got to a point where I know like once you're addicted to one thing, it starts getting boring after a while. And I wasn't addicted too much to say like, oh, I need it, but I was doing it every day. It started out by just, using it like to go party, to have the energy, to use it when you're too drunk and then you need to sober up. But then it got to a point where I just want to do it on a daily basis, and I didn't have good friends who wanted me to get out of it. I had friends who were just continuing to do it and starting to put
influence you, for sure.
Starting to put it in cigarettes, which is not cocaine anymore. And friends who would invite me to hang out, and I was in a transition of, no, I don't want to, I'm ready for more, better than this.
Yes.
And there was a time where I said, no, I don't want to hang out. And those friends still, they knew where I lived, so they pulled up to my house and they called me a bad friend for not wanting to hang out. All my friends were older than me, and there was one friend who would call me her little sister, and she was a really good person, a good friend, but she was just using. Yeah. And she would use it as if it's a normal thing. And that's one thing when you're doing that kind of drug, it's not like a hardcore drug where it's automatically downfall, but it's something, it's kind of like a gateway. Slow, very slow. Yeah.
It reminds me of, as you were talking about your friend, it reminds me of how I was in my 20s. I was a really bad influence on all my friends because I was smoking a lot of weed, and I influenced my little sister. Of course, you know her. And I taught her how to live that lifestyle of smoking weed, and I regret that to this day. And I was a good person, but I didn't know any better, I'm just being me and just living the life that I think is the best life at that time, and I really regret those things that I did. And I'm sure your friends would, when they grow older, and realize, the detriment of what any drug does to you, any reliance, being reliant on anything, nicotine, coffee, it could be the energy drinks. They're so bad for you these days, and nicotine and the vapes that are effective. We don't know the long-term effects that it's going to cause those people that are doing
Right.
the NIC and all that stuff. It's just
Right. Everything is so normalized
scary.
nowadays.
And so, we don't even realize it, and we just make so many mistakes when we're ignorant to those things. But thank you for sharing that. So you came from poverty, you came from drug addiction, and now you've established your own nonprofit. You are giving back to the community, serving at the Barrett Foundation. That's a great foundation. You're also running up for the crown. That's great. I know you're going to make it, so keep going. I see a beautiful future in your life, and I just thank you for being the light in a dark place. And the more you share, I'm telling you right now, the more you share of who you are and what God is doing in you and through you, even on the stage, on the platform, God's going to glorify that, and you're going to shine for the Lord. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your story with the girls and with my Through the Fire people. We'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.